Hey, what's up, everyone? In this video, we're going to learn how to build a multi-vendor marketplace with MyListing and the WooCommerce Product Vendors plugin. This is a video, honestly, I should have done a long time ago. I was a bit embarrassed that I hadn't done it yet, especially for my clients that have asked how to put this in place. I should have had a video done for this a long time ago, but nevertheless, here we are. So we're going to run through this guide that I've got pulled up on my screen here. This is available to club members on the MyListing Club website. And we're going to run through this guide, like I said, here together. We're going to look at this in a live working MyListing website, which happens to be the upcoming Canvas starter site. So we're going to see how to implement this and learn some tips along the way. And yeah, lots to get into here. Okay. So before we get started running through this guide, the main reason we're here for this is to create another source of revenue for your MyListing website. That comes in the form of allowing people to list their own products within their listings. And then you can take a commission on those sales, or you can just sell them a particular listing package that includes the option for them to have that feature. Or better yet, the best of both worlds, take a commission and include in your pricing the ability to add products for listing owners. So lots of benefits for this. This is a very inexpensive plugin for what you can get out of it. And it is not complicated to use. It is the only multi-vendor marketplace plugin officially supported by the MyListing developers. This is not to say that it's the only multi-vendor marketplace plugin that you can use, but it is the only one that is officially supported. So that is an important thing to keep in mind. Okay. All right. So let's roll through this. Lots to get into. Okay. So again, this guide in this video will show you how to quickly and easily turn your MyListing website into a marketplace, complete with multiple vendors, products, and payout settings, creating additional value for your listing owners while generating another revenue stream for your website using the WooCommerce Product Vendors plugin. WooCommerce Product Vendors allows vendors to sell their products on your website. In return, you can take a commission on sales and help cover the cost of running and managing your website while you focus your efforts on building a community. Like I said, a note right there, as you see on my screen, WooCommerce Product Vendors is the only multi-vendor marketplace plugin officially supported and recommended by the MyListing developers. Okay. First thing you need to do is set up a PayPal account. You can use any WooCommerce payment gateway that you want to accept payments on your MyListing website. However, payouts for the WooCommerce Product Vendors solution must be done through PayPal. Okay, so you need to set up a PayPal account, a PayPal business account more specifically. And I've got instructions here on how to do that. We're not going to do that here in this video. But if you just go to PayPal or Google PayPal business account, it's not hard to set up. You can follow those steps. Okay, so I'm going to skip over those. You can also, access the guide and I walk you through how to set that up. All right, WooCommerce Product Vendor Setup. The very first thing we need to do is set up payments. And as part of that, we need to install and activate the WooCommerce Product Vendors plugin. I've already done that before we started this video. Okay, let's go ahead and now let's browse to WooCommerce Settings, Product and Vendors. So from the WordPress dashboard, we're going to go under WooCommerce. Let me move my video out of the way here, video recording software out of the way. WooCommerce Settings, Products, and Vendors. All right. I'm actually going to move my guide to my other screen so I can follow along here. Okay. And I am going to remove myself as well, just so there's no distraction. Okay. So the very first thing here we want to look at is, the payout schedule. And you want to run through all of these settings yourself here. We're not going to do it all on this video, but you want to run through here and I've got instructions on how to set this up. So choose your payout schedule, whether it's manually, weekly, biweekly, or monthly. You want to start with your sandbox environment and test everything out, make sure everything's working before you switch over here to your live environment and get everything working. And you'll see here you've got different environments. So sandbox, and then if you flip this over to live, you'll see that these change. So first get sandbox set up, tested, validate everything. and then switch over to live. Now, if your site hasn't launched yet and you don't have customers and you're not, your site hasn't been out there and it's not in the public taking orders and all of that stuff, and then go ahead and you could jump over to the live environment if you want. I still recommend setting up Sandbox in case you ever need to test anything out and troubleshoot any issues. Just having that set up to begin with is a good thing. So that's what I would do. Next up there, set up your commission. How much of a percentage do you want to take on each sale? Commission type, whether you want to, get like say 20% of a sale, or you want to get $20 from each sale, totally up to you what you want to do there. Why I can't get rid of that. That's an annoying pop-up box. Get rid of it. Logging. This is in the event that you have issues, toggle this on if you need to troubleshoot any issues. Display. Do you want to show sold by vendor name for each product? I leave that on. Show vendor review. Enable this to show vendors overall review rating on their vendor's page. Show the vendor's logo, show the vendor's profile. So this is more of a preference on how you want to do that stuff there. Trying to think if I have any. Let me check in my guide here and see if I mentioned anything specific about these. Yeah, for the display, if you want to make it appear that everything is being sold under your brand, you can uncheck all of the settings here and save your changes. So I'm saying you could uncheck all of these settings here if you want to make it look like it's all coming from you and your store. With these checked, it really just really shows that it's actually coming from other vendors rather than you. So up to you what you want to do there. What did I say about shipping? And where is that coming? Okay. Next up is shipping. So for that, we're under WooCommerce settings and shipping. So we're under settings, and why am I brain farting this? Settings, shipping. Let's go back to general here. Okay, so we are in shipping now. What did I say about this? If your marketplace sells physical products that require shipping, this section may apply to you. I think I have it disabled. Yeah, so let's put this back on. Actually, I might be brain farting this. It's been a while since I've done this. So let me go back. Let me go back under products and vendors. I think it's because I have shipping turned off. Let me go back here and turn shipping back on, which is enabled by default. So let's turn this back on. Now let's go back to our products and vendors. Does that unlock shipping? No, I am totally brain farting where that's coming from. WooCommerce settings, shipping, vendors per product shipping. I am not seeing it. Let's search here, vendors. Maybe something changed. If your marketplace sells, however, if your marketplace is strictly for digital goods, you can disable shipping under, which I did. Oh, I'm an idiot. Sorry, guys. It's like I said, it's been a while. So shipping I had turned off, so I had to turn that on. That unlocks the shipping tab. I don't sell physical products ever, so that's why it's kind of was a brain fart for me there. But you see, then that unlocks this. Okay, so we go into here. And this is simply saying if your marketplace sells physical products that require shipping, this section may apply to you. Per product shipping allows you to define different shipping costs for products per vendor based on customer location. So if you're familiar with shipping at all, it's just another section that opens up and how you can configure this for your vendors. All right. I'm just going to go back here. I always toggle shipping off for the starter sites. Okay, so that's where that comes from. Okay, vendor registration. The store owner can manually add vendors, or the process can be automated by displaying a registration form on your website. Registration form. When you create the page where your form will be, you can use the default WordPress editor or Elementor Pro. So I use Elementor Pro for this. So we go under pages. And I just create a page. I call it vendor registration. Go ahead and edit this with Elementor. I recommend using Elementor Pro to create your vendor registration page. Otherwise, the styling and formatting of the page will need to be addressed with CSS. So in short, if you don't do it with Elementor and you just do it with the default WordPress block editor, the formatting looks a bit off. You need to know how to use CSS to style it. Okay. So again, anyone who uses the registration form will automatically be added as a pending vendor. So you may want to consider where this form is placed on your website and use either Cloudflare's Turnstile solution, which is a free solution. There's I link to a free plugin. You can also Google it. This Cloudflare Turnstile plugin. Or use one of the club's anti-spam partners to help prevent spam registrations. I would start with Cloudflare Turnstile. It's free. I use it a lot. If you want to go with a premium provider for some reason, the club has some deals for those, and you can find those on the club website. Okay, so we create a page, we publish it. I called it vendor registration page. You can call it whatever you want to call it. We edit the page with the WordPress editor or Elementor. I have it here edited with Elementor, and I just add a title here, and I'm dynamically pulling in the name of the page. So that's all that is. And then I dropped in the Elementor shortcode widget, and then I plopped in this shortcode. You can see the shortcode here on my screen. I also provide it in the guide where you can just copy and paste it. And that's all there is to it. Everything else after this is styling with CSS. Okay. All right. So now it's a matter of like where you place these links and how people can get to it. All right. So continuing on, placing the registration form. There are several ways to approach this, but with MyListing websites, I would venture to bet that website owners would prefer to hide the registration form from the front end entirely, or hide the form until someone has successfully logged in. So what I mean by that first one, hiding it altogether, there's ways that you can set up your MyListing websites to say like, well, if a certain role or a certain product is purchased or whatever, you could redirect somebody to a registration form, like a vendor registration form. What I do is I go ahead and I add it to the menu, but I hide it unless people are logged in. All right, so let's go ahead and look at that. So appearance, and then menus. You'll see here I have added the vendor registration page under the More menu item. So let's look at that on the front end here. Here we go. So under the More menu, we see vendor registration. I am logged in. That's why we see this. So let me go ahead and pull up another browser where I'm not logged in just to show you. Okay, you see how vendor registration is missing from here. All right. Okay, so I went over my approach. I first want people to come in through my website as a listing owner. Otherwise, even users with good intentions, i.e. they want to be a listing owner, might sign up as a vendor and then be unsure what to do. So what I mean by that is, let's say that they just come here and they click on vendor registration. And they have, you can't see the form because I'm logged in as the admin. I can't sign up as a vendor. So that's why this message is there. But imagine that somebody comes here to your site and you want them to be a listing owner, so they can add their product, most likely so they can add the products to the listings, right? But let's say even if that wasn't the case and you did allow vendors to come in, do you want to just show them this right off the bat? It's kind of a choice you want to make. But in my approach, I want people, the way that I've implemented sites anyway, is I want people to first be a listing owner, which, to be a listing owner, you need to register for the site, which obviously means you need to log in. And that's when I want to show them the vendor registration menu item, but not before that. All right. So that's what I'm trying to say there with that. Okay, so next up is approving vendors. We'll get to the, looking at the form and all of that stuff here in a bit. We'll run through the entire process. Approving vendors. As the website store owner, you'll be notified via email about any new registrations and will be able to approve vendors before they can sell within your marketplace. After someone registers to become a vendor, they will show up as a pending vendor within the user's area of WordPress, and you can use the steps below to approve or remove vendors. So let's go ahead and we'll do this all from scratch here. I'm going to remove everyone except for my main account here, this guy right here. We'll just do all of this from scratch. Okay, cool. So all I have now is my admin account, no vendors of any kind. Let's pull up. I'm going to pull up that other browser where I'm not logged in and everything. I'm going to go ahead and register. So this is going to be a little bonus material. You can see how Canvas is built. So I'm going to sign up here. Okay, so then now I need to go check my email, which I'm going to do in another browser. Bear with me a second while I pull up the email. All right, I've got all I'm doing now here on my other screen is just verifying my account so I can finish registering, and then we'll continue on here. All right, so here I am logging in, and I'm just using the welcome email that I have set up, how I have everything set up for the Canvas starter site using Actions Pack for Elementor. Okay, so now I'm logged in. Let's just go to the home page here. The site is not finished. It is a work in progress, so don't judge. It is it's getting closer to being finished. There's still a ways to go, but yeah, just don't hold it against me. Okay, so here we are. I am essentially, I'm a listing owner at this point. I haven't gone through the whole adding a listing and all that, but let's just say I'm a listing owner at this point. I'm registered, I'm logged in. I go up under the menu, however it is that, maybe in my welcome email, I've told people about, registering as a vendor, or, from the support page. So like, for example, the Canvas support page, where you could have a section here about vendors. I might add one actually myself to this. But that's an idea of how you could educate people, or a get started, the get started page maybe, but find a way to let them know that vendor registration is possible. Okay. So then they come here, vendor registration, and now you get to see the form. All right. If I'm not, let's just say hypothetically, they found it without logging in, this is what they would see. Actually, I can't show you, I don't think. There we go. So let's just hypothetically say they stumbled upon it. This is the full form here. So because they're already logged in, you bypass all of this stuff up here at the top. All right. So we'll go ahead and log back in here, back to the home page. So again, we're hypothetically saying they've signed up as a listing owner. They come in here, they're ready to be a vendor, they're ready to add products to their listing. They click vendor registration. They just, whatever they want to call themselves for their store. I'm just going to call it vendor. I sell great products. And then they can choose whether they want to display this in their public vendor profile or not. So I'm just going to skip that and say register. Sorry, that vendor name already exists. Okay, let's find out why that is. Oh, I think it's because I forgot to clear out the product vendors. All right, let me do that real quick here. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's go back here. Let me register. There we go. Your request has been submitted. You will be contacted shortly. Okay. So this is an example of the email. So vendor registration. Thank you for registering to become a vendor. Once your application has been approved, you will be notified. Here is your login account information, which they already had because they were already logged in, except for now it tells you exactly the URL you can go to get to the vendor dashboard. What you notice here is actually the typical backend login for WordPress. That is one interesting thing about the Product Vendors solution, how it does that. Okay, so that is the vendor point of view. Now, you, the website owner, need to approve of the vendor. You need to get notified of this, right? So let's pull up. I've got this email logging software pulled up here. So if we go into that software, and you don't need this. This is just how I'm just using this to display how it's going to look. So we see right here that this email would have normally come into the website owner. Okay, this is what it looks like. Oops, not that one. That's the one that went out. We need to the vendor. Here we go. This is what you're going to see as the website owner. Hello, vendor has requested to be registered. It's got their information, and then they give you a link here where you can click, to approve them. So I'll go ahead and click that link, and it pulls up this this mail logging app. So I'll go ahead and get out of that actually. But you would actually have it in your email. It would pull up your, the full website, and then, you would, it would essentially bring you right here. So you see under users, you've got this little notification. If you would have clicked the link in your actual email, it would have brought you here and showed you this. You have a pending vendor. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just say, click this, approve as vendor admin. Okay. So just that fast, they are a vendor. Now, I should have an email, right, that says I'm a vendor. So let's see what I got in my email. And here we go. Vendor approval. Hello, you have been approved to be a vendor on this store. You have full administrative access. And then again, the login. So I'm going to copy this login. And I'm going to pull up the vendor screen again. So the vendor, they probably went about their life and did other things and just, they waited for that email to come in, which now it has. So let's assume that they follow the link, which is what I just pasted in here. And then they go to log in. So let's log in. There we go. So now they are in their vendor dashboard. So you see, it's really, really a simple process. Really good stuff. Okay. Let's go back to my guide. I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything here. So we went through, how they get to the form, how to hide the form. There's a code snippet that you can get from the club, which is what I use. This is the code snippet I use to hide that menu if they are not logged out. So you can check that out. But I'm going to show you how that's done real quick before we move on. So back in our menu, so appearance and menus. Oh, actually, I've already got it pulled up here. So we add the vendor registration page to our menu, and then you'll see here we have the CSS class. To expose the CSS class, you expand this screen options up here in the top right, expand that, and you check this box, CSS classes. That's what's going to give you this dialog box right here. Okay. And I've got it set up to where if this class, hide if logged out, is anywhere, it's going to hide it if they're logged out. All right. I think I actually updated that snippet to be different. So let's go ahead and just look at that snippet here in WP Codebox. And it's going to be a PHP snippet. And here we go. Show content based on role. This one you can ignore, but this is part of the overall solution, is to get those role classes, into the body of our content. So don't worry about the technical details of this. You can download this from the club website, but you get this, add it to your site. Then the other piece is just a bit of CSS. And we need to apply it to our global CSS because it's part of the header menu, right? So the header menu is likely going to appear on every page. That's why we want to add it to our CSS that applies globally to our site. I think I have it down here at the bottom. Yeah, here we go. Hide the WooCommerce Product Vendors dashboard menu item from non-vendors. And here's my code there. So I actually wanted this CSS class to be in there. So let me go ahead and do that while we're here. So we just drop that in. Now, anywhere that you add this CSS class to is going to be hidden unless somebody is logged out. All right. And we can test that real quick. So here I am as the admin, right? And so it's guaranteed I'm going to be able to see it. There it is, the vendor registration. Over here, I am logged in as the vendor, right? So I can see it. All right. Looking back at our snippet, we are saying if they have the role of customer, subscriber, editor, or author, we are hiding the content. Okay. So let's just test this out. Let's add an author. And let's go over here and we will log in to a different browser. We'll log in as an author. Okay, we see here, yeah, that they should not be able to see. So let me troubleshoot this real quick, if you don't mind. So we have our code in there, logged in user role, hide content. It should be, we need another one that says if they are logged out too. Yeah, so that's part of the problem. So I'll fix that after we're done. But we need one that actually says logged out. Let's see if I've got a snippet already in here. Yeah, so that's why it worked before. So I'll go ahead and fix that right now. So this is another code snippet that you can use, hide if logged out. So what we could actually do here is do the same thing here. So hide if logged out, hide content. So we'll just match up those classes so they both are the same. There we go. All right. So sorry to be so nerdy on this. I didn't expect to get that nerdy that fast, but let me go ahead and refresh this and we should see that this goes away. And it's not. So I'll have to troubleshoot this some more. Let me check one more thing here, make sure. Yeah, we've got that in there. Could be caching. Let's go ahead and try that. Okay, there we go. So it's just caching. All right, so we're good. So again, let's recap here. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to be to happen there, but we're good to go. So we're logged in as the admin. Yeah, obviously we can see vendor registration here. Let's pull up this is the vendor, and we'll go ahead and refresh this to be sure. And they can see a registration, which I would expect, right? Okay. Now, here we are. We're not logged in at all, and we shouldn't see that menu item, and we can't. Now, to continue on, if we log in as that author account, we shouldn't see it either. Let me go ahead and just quickly reset this password for the author. I apologize. Did not mean for this little segue here, but anyway, you get to see some troubleshooting steps. Okay, so now I am logged in as the author. Let me pull up the front end of the site. Okay, I don't know why it didn't log in. That's weird. There we go. Okay, so there we go. We're in as author. We can't see it. So what we're saying here is, admins can see it, vendors can see that menu item. The public cannot see this menu item if they're not logged in. If you're an author, you can't see it, and then you can adjust this. So let's test that out, just to see how you can adjust it. So let's go back to our code snippets. Show content based on role. Okay. So here we go. Let's take out the author. So what we're doing when we do this is we are saying, hey, if they are the author, let's show them. Let's go ahead and show them. That's fine. Let me clear the cache because I think that was our problem last time. Okay, author cannot see it. Let's refresh the page. There we go. Now they can see it. If I go back into WP Cobox and we'll just do a Control Z just to get back where we were, save our changes, clear the cache. Author can see it. Let's refresh the page. Now the author can't see it. All right, so that is how all of that is done. Okay, let's go back to the guide and see where we are. So we looked at how to approve a vendor. You can manually register. I give you steps in the guide how to manually register a vendor. So for that, you just go add new user, fill in their details, and then select their role as whatever, vendor admin or vendor manager if you want them to have less permissions. Okay, so that's just like assigning creating a regular user as you're used to doing. You just give them the role of vendor admin. Okay, vendor login. Vendors can log into their dashboard from the back end of your website, which we did. It's that login.php URL. You need to place the link somewhere where they can get to it, which I've already demonstrated, and we've added it to the menu area. Part of this starter site is, and I've got a link to it, is this completely customizing the login registration experience. So this is another guide in the club. This is done with Actions Pack for Elementor. So let's do a brief look at that. So that's what you're seeing here. This is a completely custom login registration solution for MyListing, and it's configured. I'll quickly show you how it works in the back end. So for that, we have a page called login or register. We'll look at the login one for now. So here's our login page. This is a completely custom page. We edit the form, which is tied into the Actions Pack for Elementor plugin. And we're saying here on login, let's do a redirection. So let's click into there. And we're saying if it's a vendor admin, someone with a vendor admin role or vendor manager role, let's redirect them here. So what we're doing on login is we're redirecting them directly to their dashboard. All right. So let's test that out. All right, so here I am. I am on the website. I'm on the custom login page, and I need to log in as a vendor. I probably forgot my password. So let's go over here into users again. And I'm gonna set a password. Damn video software keeps getting in the way. Just bear with me one second. I'm gonna set a password that I'm gonna remember every time. For these. So let me secretly put those passwords in. This is like a common password I use in life. So I want to make sure that it's not visible to the public. Okay, so I've got that set. Let's go ahead and close those down. Okay, so here we are again. This is the custom login page. I'm going to log in as vendor. And if Actions Pack is doing its job, and because this is a vendor, it's going to dump me right into the vendor dashboard. Wrong credentials. Probably have the username wrong. And I think I do because I think it was... There we go. So there we go. Actions Pack is doing its job. It's dumping us right into the vendor dashboard at login. Now, with the power of Actions Pack for Elementor and doing it the way that I've done all this, You see all the powerful redirections. There's a lot of other things you can do. And if we look at the registration page, you have options there as well. So if we edit the form, we have under additional settings here, you have the option to unlock redirections. And then you can do custom redirections there as well on registration, as well as login, or one or the other. It's totally unlocks a lot of functionality and freedom when you use this solution, the actions pack solution. Okay, let's go back to the guide. We talked about the vendor logins, vendor dashboard endpoint. All right, so what I mean by that is if you look at a WooCommerce a MyListing website, you know the user menu, whatever you want to call it, the WooCommerce menu. It's this menu right here that occurs in the header, and you've got all these endpoints, these WooCommerce endpoints. You'll see here that one is called vendor. All right, so let's look at how we're going to add that. So for that, we want to go to our WordPress dashboard and go back to menus, which I've already got open here. And for this one, we want to get out of the primary menu. We want to go to the WooCommerce menu. If you don't have a WooCommerce menu added to your website yet, what that does is MyListing by default will add all of the WooCommerce endpoints that it thinks that you need for your website. All right. If you want to customize that menu, you create a new menu and you assign it as the WooCommerce menu. Okay. So create the menu. I'm going to select that here. Just pretend I just created this menu. This is the key down here. You'll see this WooCommerce menu checkbox. That's what's going to override the default MyListing WooCommerce menu and allow you to fully customize it as you want. As you see here, I've added the endpoints that I wanted to add. I've added some icons to it. Looking specifically at the vendor endpoint, you'll see the link that I put in there. It's just /wp/-admin. Okay, I added a little shopping bag icon using MyListing's shortcode feature. So if you're not familiar with that, theme tools, shortcodes, I just went here and I did icon and I just did a search for shop. I grabbed this shopping bag shortcode and I dropped it right here in my menu item right before the word vendor. Okay. And then you see the CSS class, hide content. And what that's doing, it's back to what I showed you before. This endpoint is not going to be visible by those that are not a vendor. Okay. You can't see this menu by default when you're not logged in, so you don't have to worry about that portion. But what you may want to worry about is when a certain role is logged in, yeah, let's go ahead and hide this from certain roles. So if I pull up where I'm logged in as the author, let me go ahead and refresh my screen. Let me go ahead and get logged in here as the author again. Actually, let me go back. So I'm going to show you what I mean by, you see here, you're not logged in, you're not registered, so you can't see that user menu anyway. So the other portion of this doesn't matter. Those other code snippets don't matter. So if I log in here, there we go. I don't know what's going on there. I need to set this to redirect on login. I haven't done it for the author role yet, so I'll do that after this video. But ideally, you want to redirect them somewhere that makes sense. Pretend like we redirected them to the homepage in this case. But here we see vendor, and we actually we shouldn't see that. So I will take care of that after the video. But you get the idea here. This person isn't a vendor. Maybe it's because I changed the role. I think I'm brain farting this. What did I set this at? Oh, it's because of their vendor admin. I was in the wrong account. I was like, what is going on? Lots of moving parts here, guys. I apologize. All right, let me get logged in. Here's the author. Okay, here we go. So now I'm logged in as the author. Let's go to the front end. They should not see the vendor registration menu item, and they don't, and they shouldn't see the vendor endpoint. There we go. Sorry, I was in the wrong account. My apologies. But yet this is how it should work. Okay. Okay. What else? Let's go on to the next thing here. Sorry, I'm throwing a lot at you guys, but this is, if you follow the guide or this, along with this video, you'll have this thing set up. It's so fast. It's really easy to set up once you've done it. I shouldn't say it's easy. It's easy once you've done it a few times. It becomes really, really easy. And like I said, the guide is completely revamped. I just finished it this morning, going through it spent a lot of time going through it. So between that and this video, you'll be good to go. No doubt in my mind. Okay, so we added the endpoint to the WooCommerce menu. We added the vendor dashboard endpoint. Showed you how to add an icon using the shortcode, all of that. Vendor dashboard endpoint visibility. You already know how that's going. It's those code snippets and configuring those. If you're not comfortable with code snippets, there is a nav menu roles plugin that is free that you can use. It's really easy to set up. It basically unlocks these areas of the menu. It adds its own stuff in here, makes it really easy to check on and off which roles get what and that sort of thing. But if you can avoid a plugin, why not? That particular plugin has some features you may not necessarily need, so it adds a little extra bloat that maybe you don't really need. So you just got to make that decision there. The code snippets make it super simple. Okay, vendor dashboard. Once a vendor logs in, they can access their dashboard and have full transparency into all aspects with website owners and vendors seeing the same information. What I mean by there is there's no hiding anything. Everybody sees the same information, the sales that are made, all that sort of thing. Let me go ahead and pull up that dashboard. Much like WordPress's WooCommerce status dashboard view, the vendor dashboard has an excellent sales summary from multiple areas, including monthly net sales, commissions, product stock, and more. Orders. As mentioned, vendors can have full transparency into any orders placed on the website. So that's this right here, this orders tab. There's none in here, but they will have full transparency into any orders placed on the platform for their products, knowing which products were purchased, the order dates, the commissions information. For any physical products that involve shipping, vendors can use this area to mark their orders as fulfilled, as being shipped. Reports tab. Vendors can easily view and export sales reports and stock levels from here. So you see that there's an export CSV up here. Just click that, choose the location you want to download your stuff, and you can filter year, last month, this month, last 7 days. Here's the stock tab. If you have physical items, then that tab will make more sense to you there. Products. In this area, vendors can add and manage all of their products. Let's look at the vendor product flow. So vendor dashboard products, which is where we are, add new. It's just like if you've ever added a product to your MyListing website, it's the same thing. Give it a name, blah, 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 give it a description. I'm in the vendor's shoes now. I'm pretending like I'm them. Simple product, is it virtual? Is it downloadable? We'll give it a price. Whether it's on sale, you can put a sale price. All of the typical stuff here. Okay. Click submit for review. They can do the images and all of the stuff. So if you click set product image, we can choose one, and they can upload that to the site. They can do a gallery. We'll get into some education here in a bit. But let's go ahead and submit this for review and see how that process should go. So they submitted a product. There's got to be some notifications somewhere, correct? Okay, so let's see what we got there. From the get my screens pulled up here. All right, so we're going to pull up the that logging software again, so we can see what it is that the admin would see. Okay, so who's the admin of our site? It's this address right here. So here we see new vendor product. All right, let's check this out. So this is what the admin would have gotten in their inbox. Product added notice. Hello, vendor has added a new product, awaiting review. If I would have clicked this link in a real email, it would take me to right here in this area of the dashboard. Okay, and we see that there is a product that is pending. So then you can go in here and you can preview it. How does it look? Did they do all this, add all the information that we hoped that they would add? What category did they put in? Things of that nature. And then if you like it, you just go in and let's go here, edit the product. Because I am in the product over here on this other screen, I had, hopefully they exit out, but let's say they didn't, you can just take it over. So click the take over button and you take over the product. Now at this point, let's just say hypothetically that you love everything they did. It matches all your criteria, your standards for your site. You can click publish here and it goes through. But if you notice there's something they forgot, you can help them out here and assign the right categories, the right product tags, whatever you want to do, adjust whatever you want to adjust, whatever you need to do there. We'll get into, like I said, we'll get into education right after this, but let's say hypothetically that you liked it. All right, click publish. All right, so then from the vendors side of things, we now see that their product is in there and it is published. Now, let me pull up the guide here and see where I left off here. I'm trying to think if there is, off the top of my head, if there is a notification that goes out to the vendor that says their product was approved. Let's go back to that mail logging software and let's see if that's the case. Yeah, it doesn't appear that is the case. So, okay, so here we are as the vendor. Let me get that. I'm going to get my guide pulled up here so I can get back on track. I mentioned something about educating vendors. Okay. Categories is one of them. So if I pull up this screen again as the vendor, if we look at the product, one thing you want to educate the vendors on is categories. I recommend setting up product categories in WooCommerce for your vendors to use when submitting their products, as this will keep their products out of your website's main store. What I mean by that is, let's, say you have this vendor category 1, whatever you want to call them. Then when you go to set up your own store and, set up a template with Elementor Pro and you're choosing which categories to display in your store, you can filter it out so that the vendors appear if you don't want them to. And then when you go to set up specific vendor pages, you can use the categories to pull in specific vendor categories and so on. So, set that up as you want, but I would definitely set up categories, if for no other reason, just to keep the vendor's products out of your main store. All right. And educate the vendors, on how you expect them to do this. Like, tell them that you expect them to pick a category. You don't want to have to edit all of their products as they submit them and assign a category on their behalf. Make sure that they're doing that legwork, okay? The other thing too is the product type. Just because vendors create a product of a particular type, a simple product, a variable product, etc., that doesn't guarantee it will be allowed in their listing. A listing type's products field defines the type of product allowed in listings. So you need to educate vendors regarding the product types that are allowed. So let's look at what I mean by that. If they come here and they add a product, let's say they were to add a variable product, okay? Great, they've added it. Hopefully you've caught it when you go to preview it and you see that that's not allowed, but let's say you didn't. In the listing type, for the product field, so we're in our fields here and we've got, let me find out where I have this, merchandise. So we've got the products field, and this is what the products field is, what pulls from WooCommerce Product Vendors, okay? Here we see that I've got it configured as just only allowing single products. So even though the vendor successfully added a product that's a variable product, they're not going to be able to display it in their store because of how I have this configured here. So you need to get on this, come up with something here as far as what you want to allow to be uploaded and displayed in your store, and then get on the same page with your vendors and make sure that they know that's the case. What else? Really quickly, while I'm thinking about it, is the media. I want to show you from the point of view of the vendor, the media situation. So if let's say that they uploaded, let me see what images I have on my computer. See if I can upload an image. I'm trying to make sure I don't have a massive image here. Let's see. Guess it doesn't really matter. All right. So let's say this is the product image. I'm going to upload one. Oh, yeah. So this is the thing. So Happy Files Pro is implemented on this starter site, which, that is a cool feature. It allows you to do all this by folders, but you'll see that the vendor does not have access to view what is in there. That's a good thing. They only have access to their files. Okay. And we see they need to upload a file. So let's do that. So let's pretend that this is their product image. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's too big of a file size. Trying to think if I can find an image. Yeah, I know of one I can pull down here. So bear with me 1 second. Okay, cool. All right, so let me pick a different image to upload here. There we go. So they've uploaded their image. Let's go ahead and update this. So now let's go back over to media. There we go. So they can access their media. They just can't access anyone else's. Cool. And if you want to run a really tight ship, you could create a folder and drop these vendor images in there. I think you can. They may not be able to see it actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, actually don't do that. I don't think they're going to be able to see it. So it needs to be, I would organize all of your files, your images, as I'm doing here. I think the vendor ones need to stay here in all files and uncategorized for them to get to them. Okay, that's a little sidebar there. Let's get back to the guide. So we educated users on categories, product types. All right, store settings. In this area, vendors can update their information, see their commission rate, and improve their profile by adding a logo, writing a vendor introduction, providing an introduction video, etc. So that is, let me pull that back up. So that is this right here under store settings. So this gives them some options to build up their profile even more, set their time zone, things, and see their commission level, things of that nature. Support. Really quick. So back in the store settings, the PayPal email. So this is how they get paid. So you need to educate users on how, they need to put their PayPal address in here to get paid their commission. So that's this item right here. Support. In this area, vendors can request support from the website owner by sending them an email. And any email sent from this location will go to the website's administrator email address. So that is going to, any email sent from there is going to go to settings, whatever you have set here as the administrative email address. Okay. So again, back here in the vendor dashboard, if they were to use support and send like, I need help, submit, that is going to go to the admin. So for that, we can go back to our mail logging software, and here we go. We see to the admin address that there is a vendor support question. Here we go. Vendor says, it's going to be formatted better in your email system, but it says, I need help. Okay, cool stuff. All right, next up is styling the vendor dashboard. By default, let me pull this up again. Too many screens to pull up here. Let's go back to the main part of the dashboard. By default, WooCommerce Product Vendors does not provide the sexiest dashboard, but does get the job done. So like looking at it, it looks very reminiscent of the WordPress dashboard, the backend dashboard, because it pretty much is a subset of that. It's not the sexiest thing in the world. If WordPress holds true to their promise, they are going to be revamping the WordPress admin dashboard in the future. And I'm super excited about that because it will roll over to this area, I'm pretty sure. But if you want to style this, it's absolutely possible. UiPress is installed and licensed with any of the starter sites, allowing website owners to get a jump start on enhancing the design of the WordPress dashboard, including the WooCommerce Product Vendors dashboard. With the flip of a switch, website owners can apply a more modern looking dashboard. So let me show you what that looks like. So we go under settings and then UI settings. This is going to be the area for UiPress. And here we go under theme. And we're just going to toggle this on to yes and save our changes. Just that simple. You're going to modernize the dashboard. So I'm going to create another tab here, a duplicate tab. There we go. So you see the before and the after. So it cleans things up right away. It may not look like a lot, but it definitely modernizes it. And it sets the tone for the other things that you can do. Okay. So in here within UiPress, you can then go into colors and here's all the colors. You can define how you want the stuff to appear. You can do other things like, font size, fonts, all kinds of stuff. And that's just the beginning. All of this stuff is then open to you. There's all kinds of things you can do in here besides theme. But yeah, that starts to open those doors for you. So I'm going to take that off for now. That's going to be the default setting. I'm not going to apply a theme when people buy the starter site, but you see just how easy it is to modernize it. Then, if on top of that, or in as a different approach, you could use, if you're good with CSS, you can apply your own CSS. All right. So if I come in here, let's say I don't have UiPress. I haven't bought a starter site. I haven't purchased UiPress or anything. And I just want to do all this by hand. You can absolutely do that. Let's style this green icon here for fun. All right, so we find the icon here in our inspector. There we go. There's our color. Let's make this that pink color. Okay, let's make it like bright red. Okay, so here is our code for that, our CSS that we need for that. I'm just going to grab that. I'm going to jump back over and jump into WP Codebox, which is how I add all of my CSS to every website I ever build. And here I've got a test snippet set up called Sandbox. I'm just going to drop this code in here. All we need is the part that we're changing. So we're changing the color of that icon, right? Let's save the snippet, enable the snippet, and we'll just leave the settings as is just so we can see it take place. So there's our icon. We're going to just refresh the page. Boom. And we see that it sticks. Okay, so you can customize this dashboard however you want at this point. Pretty cool stuff, right? Okay, and like I said, you can do this in combination. You could start with UiPress and modernize it right off the bat, and then tweak it further, or you could just use straight WP Codebox and manually add CSS to it. Totally up to you. Do whatever you want there. Okay, so what's up next? Single listing storefront. Since we are working with the MyListing theme, the primary focus is to allow vendors to display products within the listings. However, this guide also covers other ways to display vendor storefronts to create additional monetization options. So let's look at this from a listing point of view. So let's pull up the vendor here. say they've got a product and now they want to create a listing and add it to their listing. All right. So let's go ahead. We'll go through this process. Add a listing. Let's pretend they're going to add a restaurant listing type. They choose their package, and here we go. So now we're in the add listing form, and they come down here and they want to add their product. So here we go. This merchandise field, it's the products field. I just called it merchandise. When they go to select a product, they're only going to be able to select the products that they added to the platform. I think I'm logged in as author here, so I need to get in as the. Let me make sure I'm logged in as the right person. Vendor admin. Yeah, I am logged in as the right person. Maybe my products didn't go through. All right, let's go through the whole process. So let's make sure we have a product in here. Products. We do have a product and it was approved. Oh, it's because it's a variable product. So there we go. So that's some good troubleshooting. Remember I said before that it has to be a product that is allowed by that listing type. So let's set this back to simple product. Put our price in here and update. Okay, let's refresh the add listing page. Submit form, scroll down, and here we go. Boom, there we go. So that's why we couldn't see it. Now they select it, and now when they submit their listing, I'm going to do this actually from the back end so I don't have to go through that whole form. So I'm going to create a listing on behalf of this vendor. We're going to do the restaurant listing type. And because I'm doing it from the back end, I only need to do the fields that I absolutely want to do. So I'm going to choose their product and publish it. All right, and let's view this listing on the front end. And now the thing we want to look at is the store tab. Again, the site is not finished. Do not hold this against me. Clicking into the store tab, there we go. There's the vendor's product. And we notice here, sold by canvas. Okay. So that makes it look like it's actually coming from the store rather than the vendor. But with the settings of WooCommerce Product Vendors, you can make this so it actually shows the vendor's name in here. All right. Okay. So I showed you the products field. I showed you the store tab, which is what we're looking at right here. And the store tab won't show if there aren't any products in there. So that's a really cool feature. Okay, adding products to single listings. We did all that. An important note about design. Yeah, so like the other option is like your store. So let's go to the store. I think we call it shop. So this is how the MyListing store looks like by default. It's not the greatest. It's not the worst, but it's not the greatest. But I wanted to point that out. Here's that product, that vendor product that we just added. Now we see here, see how it says sold by vendor. So that is showing that it is sold by that vendor. I'm not sure why. I think we were looking at a different product here. That's because I actually added the product on behalf. So this is how it will look right here. It'll be sold by vendor and whatnot. But this is what I meant by if they were to assign by, categories and stuff, you could filter this out of your main shop page. Like these wouldn't even be here. All right. So as I mentioned in the guide, if you do not design shop templates with Elementor Pro or by hand with CSS, whenever someone clicks on a vendor's sold by link within their listing, then the user will be taken to your default shop page design template. This is often highly undesirable as the default shop template MyListing provides is very basic and does not look professional without some additional design. So it's not terrible, but it could be better. Okay. Whether you think that's unprofessional or professional looking, that, it's subjective. To me, it doesn't look professional, but all right. So let's now talk about some custom designs, how to do some custom designs quickly and easily. I'm just going to show you a couple links. These are in the guide, but these are some stores that I built just to show you what's possible. This is on the Fit Starter site. This is available as a template, but you'll see here, This is the actual demo vendor. So this is dynamically pulling in the vendor and their products, because you can tell right here, like sold by demo vendor. And these are all the different categories and whatnot, all dynamically populated. So that is one example. And then here's the Valve starter site. This is another take on it. You'll see here, sold by vendor. So these are individual vendor stores that appear outside of their listings. And to do this, you need Elementor Pro to do this, to create each of these individual shop pages. All right, what else? In the guide, I go over some high-level steps for creating your template. I'll quickly show you that. So Elementor and then templates. And let's just do add new. I'm going to be creating one of these for the starter site, but I haven't done that yet. So you choose your type. They're going to be product archives. That's what they call them. I'm going to go ahead and call this product vendor. And I'm going to call this light mode because I'm building these in light and dark mode. Every template I built for the site. So create template. You can start with what they give you here, or you can, like I said, you can import a pre-made template from the club, or you can just close out of this and start building all of this from scratch with the display conditions that Elementor Pro gives you. So if you see down here near this pink box where it says publish, if you click this up arrow here, it's going to give you these display conditions. When we go in here, we can choose. Right now, by default, it's going to display all product archives. So essentially, that's all products. That's the same equivalent as your shop page here. It's going to display everything. But what if you wanted to filter those out by a certain vendor? So for that, you can go in here and you can go vendor and then just choose the vendor. If I knew how to type, you just search for the vendor. Now this page is only going to display products from that particular vendor. You can do other things. You can do product categories, which I kind of talked about earlier. If you had a vendor category, there we go. So what you could do there in that case is you could build some crazy, featured product page that says, hey, here are the top products from this vendor. Here's the top products from that vendor. You just kind of build this one page where you pull in all these different vendor products, that sort of thing. That's where the power of those categories can come in. But I wanted to quickly show you that page. That's how you would create those. Okay, we went through all of that. Vendor commission. Since we are manually paying out commissions, for this guide, for this video, I'll cover that process. So WordPress dashboard and then commissions. So we see that right here, a little menu item called commissions. And this is where you're going to pay people out. All right. The sale, all the commissions will be in here when they're ready to be paid out. And you just go in here to pay them out. So you'll select the unpaid commission and choose pay commission from the bulk actions menu. We don't have any in here, so I can't really show you. And then you just click apply and off you go. At this stage, you should see a message about the items being processed and that the paid status will be updated in a few minutes. Once the commission payment goes through, the commission status will switch from unpaid to paid. You can go out there on the internet and do a Google search for WooCommerce Product Vendors, vendor commission, screenshots of what that looks like, paid and unpaid, if you really want to see what that looks like. Okay. Email notifications. Several emails are set up in Product Vendors for vendors and the store owner. Vendor registration, store owner notifications sent when vendors submits the registration form. So whenever a vendor uses the registration form to register to be a vendor, the store owner will get notified. Vendor registration vendor sent to confirm that the registration form was submitted to the store owner with a link to set a new password. So vendor comes to your website, they register, they're going to get a notification. Okay. Once, to confirm. Order email to the vendor. Notifies the vendor of a new order. So a vendor's on your site, they've registered, they're good to go, they've added products, they've made a sale. This is just simply saying they're going to get notified. And let me quickly show you where all this is happening at. So WooCommerce settings, and emails, and it's all in here. You could do a search on this page for vendor to pull up all of them. But here you go. Anything with vendor in here is going to be related to there. And then down here of special note, remember when we sent that support request in? You can change this. You can do some stuff down here so it doesn't have to go to the admin address, the general WordPress admin address if you don't want to. Okay, so you can change that. You can set it to be an email distribution list so multiple people get it. You can put you could separate the email addresses by commas, I believe. Let's see what it says here. You should be able to separate email addresses by commas here if you want to put in multiple email addresses. I have to check that out and see. Canceled order email to the vendor, sent to notify the vendor that the customer has canceled their order. Vendor approval, sent to vendors with a login link when the registration is approved. Product added notice, sent to store owner to review when a vendor adds a product, which we've seen that. Order note to customer, sent to the customer when the vendor adds a note, e.g. a tracking number or a personal thank you. So order comes through, the vendor can add a note that goes out to the customer. So that's a really cool feature. All right, guys, that was a lot to get through. Yeah, really awesome stuff. Easy way to add an additional revenue stream to your website. There are other solutions out there. Like I said, this is the only one officially supported by the MyListing developers. You can go out and look at other solutions. The thing I want you to be, a few things to be aware of. One, again, support. If you jump into the MyListing help desk, and you got to be prepared for someone to tell you, we can't do that without custom code customizations, or we just simply can't cover that. It's not supported. You just got to be prepared for that. So you pretty much got to be prepared to have your own developer if you face any issues outside of, using WooCommerce Product Vendors. If you go with another solution, you're on your own. You're probably going to need a developer if something comes up. The other thing is what I see with a lot of these other solutions is add-ons. So you got to really think about what the feature set you need. I've shown you the feature set you're going to get. If you need more than that, how much more than that do you need? Is it worth going out and getting a more expensive solution that has all these add-ons? A lot of these products will lure you in, maybe even with a free base product, but then you get hit with add-ins after add-in after add-in cost, and it builds up. Your site becomes super complex. There are conflicts. It's hard to maintain, and so on and so forth. So you really got to ask yourself, is the feature set you're getting by going a different route worth it? For the administrative overhead, the cost, and things like that. I am not saying that WooCommerce Product Vendors is the best solution in the world for this. It's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that it is very inexpensive for what you get. It's very simple to use. It is officially supported by, the MyListing developers. It is a WooCommerce product, so you're going to get great support there as well. And I've shown you how easy this is. Minus a couple, hiccups there, here and there, but that was my own doing. That was not the product's doing, or wasn't MyListing's fault either. It was my fault on a couple of those little hiccups, but that's what happens on live unedited videos. Anyway, guys, that's about it for this video. And, I'm glad I finally got this one created. I can't believe I haven't done this until now, but, there it is. It's going to be out there, and I hope it really helps you guys. Hit me up if you have any questions. I'll see ya.